Good evening. Welcome to News Now on TV360. I'm Thelma Okoro. Hundreds of Boko Haram militants launched fresh attacks on some communities in the Borno town of Baga, northeastern Nigeria, killing scores of people, including children. The Islamic insurgents who carried out the attacks on Saturday also seized a multinational military base in the Baga community of the area. The base is used by the Multinational Joint Task Force, which was established in 1998 to battle cross-border crimes. It has been involved in the fight against Boko Haram since then. The Multinational Joint Task Force is made up of troops from Nigeria, Chad, and also Niger. Residents who fled Baga say dozens of people had been killed and the town was also set ablaze. Boko Haram has terrorized northern Nigeria regularly since 2009, attacking police stations, schools, churches and civilians, and bombing government buildings since its inception. The younger sister of Nigeria's President Goodluck Jonathan has passed away. A statement from the presidency announced that Nancy Jonathan Ole passed away on Sunday at a hospital in Yanagwa after a brief illness. She was 52 years old. Commiserating with the president, Nigeria's main opposition party, the All Progressives Congress (APC), urged the president to take solace in God for the unquantifiable loss. In a statement issued in Port Harcourt Monday by its spokesperson, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, the party said the loss of a loved one is always an unfathomable tragedy, which is compounded when such death occurs at an unripe age. Her burial arrangements will be announced later by the family. Oil prices dropped to a fresh 5.5-year low on Monday as worries about a surplus of global supplies and lackluster demand dragged on oil markets. But oil producer group OPEC has decided not to cut output, opting to let the market find its own level. The two crude oil benchmarks, Brent and U.S. light crude oil, also known as West Texas Intermediate, have now lost more than half of their value since mid-2014. Brent crude for February dropped as low as $55 per barrel, its weakest since May 2009, before edging back to $55.32 per barrel, down to $1.10, while U.S. crude oil slipped to $51.40 per barrel on Monday, also its lowest since May 2009, before recovering to a little trade around $51.60 per barrel. Lebanese officials say they have imposed new restrictions on Syrians entering Lebanon in a bid to reduce the flow of Syrian asylum seekers trying to flee the ongoing war in the country. The new restrictions came into effect on Monday after immense deliberations, authorities say. Millions of Syrians have been displaced by the civil war as rebel forces try to oust President Bashar al-Assad. Previously, to travel between the two countries was largely unrestricted, but now Syrians will have to obtain a visa to travel to Lebanon. Lebanon, which shares a border with Syria, hosts more than 1 million Syrian refugees, and this is the latest step to try to stem the influx of refugees. Before now, Syrians could stay in Lebanon for up to 6 months automatically, but under the new measures, Syrians wanting to enter Lebanon will now have to fulfill certain criteria in order to be granted a visa to the border. It is unclear what the new rule will mean for many Syrians already in the country and not registered as refugees. The search mission to find the flight data recorders from the crashed AirAsia passenger plane has resumed as weather conditions improve over the Java Sea. The flight was flying from Surabaya before it crash landed in the sea, killing all the passengers on board on the 28th of December when it disappeared from radar. Search teams have recovered 37 bodies so far, but the remains of most victims are thought to be in the plane. Bad weather hampered attempts to reach large objects thought to be the body of the plane inside the sea. There were 137 adult passengers, 17 children and 1 infant, along with 2 pilots and 5 crew members on the plane, majority of them Indonesia, when it crashed. To sports news now, Nigeria Football Federation (NFF) says it will open an inquest into the transfer process involving Super Eagles winger Doak. The 20-year-old has been caught in the web of two clubs who tried to sign him after he reportedly signed for both clubs earlier in late last year. The action led to calls for an immediate investigation amid a brewing controversy. Eduk was one of the standout performers in the Nigeria Professional Football League last season. He scored 20 league goals for Dolphins during his time in the club. David Moyes admits he has always wondered how to possibly get a result against Barcelona after his club side beat the Catalans 1-0 in their latest defeat. In his first match against the four-time European winners, the former Manchester United boss guided Sociedad to just a second La Liga win under him. Moyes said the win feels familiar and similar to his early days at Everton. The victory moved Moyes' men up 4 places to 13th in the league, with the Scot losing just once in the 6 league games since being appointed in November last year. Moyes was sacked from Manchester United after 10 months after succeeding Sir Alex Ferguson in the club. Barcelona have sacked former goalkeeper Andoni Zubizarreta from his position as director of football. The 53-year-old took over the role in summer of 2010. A Barcelona statement gave no reason why his contract was terminated. It, however, said the president of the club, Josep Maria Bartomeu, had decided to terminate Zubizarreta's contract immediately. Zubizarreta was the club's keeper between 1986 and 1994. He also played for Spain, making 126 appearances during his time in the club. We've come to the end of news now. We thank you very much for joining us. I'm Thelma Okoro.